How can we keep that balance of observing the palace while also not spilling the oil? One of them will suffer if the attention is diverted.
So yes, at a normal worldly level, you may say that, now only you have said keep your attention on one task. So either I can keep an eye on the oil and the lamp, or I can keep an eye on the world around. But this is not true for the yogi. The yogi is so focused in his attention, he has withdrawn his energy and is capable of mastering that energy. So imagine, just imagine that in your heart chakra, there is this diya and this flame burning. When your emotions are completely rested, when your thoughts are not scattered, you can actually visualize that that flame is not flickering at all. And immediately, when your breath is restless, when your mind is restless, and when your emotions are going amok, then that flame in your heart, which is, of course, I'm talking of an imaginary flame, but actually meaning the centeredness of the heart, does not flicker if it is, well controlled. If everything is going outward and restless, that flame will flicker. The oil of the heart means the energy going to the astral spine will spill out. But if your emotions are controlled, your mind is rested, and your breath is under control, then it will be stable. Now, this is the situation. Not only are you centered at this point, but also you are completely focused. And if you are completely focused at the point between the eyebrows, or somewhere you can say a point which combines the intellect of the brain with the heart chakra, so you come to an intuitive feeling, then your sense of awareness is expanded beyond your body. This has to be experienced. You are intensely aware of whatever is happening, and yet your heart is not flickering. Now, this is an achievable state, and this comes with a deep meditation. And with degrees, you will find you are capable of doing that. For example, if you are a teacher, and I'm just giving a random example, if you are a teacher and there are certain students in your class who are very, very misbehaved. So if you are a normal worldly lay person who does not meditate, you will immediately react to when the children are, creating some ruckus and disturbing your class. But as you start meditating, as your emotions start to come under your control, as the reactive process in you comes under your control, then in the same class, with the same children, with the same ruckus that they are creating, your response will be different. So now what has happened here? The flickering of your own heart has stopped or reduced. And therefore, although you are aware that there is a disturbance happening in the classroom and these people are creating, you're completely aware of that. Yet you are aware that your heart is calm. This is what is being meant here when you say that you do not allow the oil to spill or the flame to flicker and yet be aware of what is happening. So as our reactive process converts into response, appropriate response, we find that we become more and more masters of our own self. And when we become masters of our own self and we are more centered in the astral spine, it is possible to be purely, attentive and aware simultaneously of everything. And that is what omnipresence is. That is what omniscience is. Eventually, if our goal is self-realization, and Master says self-realization is knowing that you are as omniscient as spirit. So what do you think is omniscience? Is being aware of everything around you, in you, around you. So that is the goal. And as you keep meditating, this will increase in degrees and grades. And therefore, it is no surprise that a Brahmagyani can do such a thing. And for us, we can start working with simple activities. If we meditate more and more every day, our reactive process will automatically come under our control. And we will find that the same situations, the same world, the same people do not irritate us and do not create that same reaction from us that used to happen when we did not meditate. So therefore, what is the solution? Bring your energy, your attention to this moment and meditate as given by the Guru, and you will find that you will also be able to do what Sukadeva was able to do. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for the question. It's a good one, actually. It's a very practical question. Yes.
Next question is, in my house there are maids and driver, and strangely from few days my mother has started giving tea to them in the same teacups as we use for ourselves. Seeing this, I straightway objected and she said she will take care, but again it happened yesterday. What should be my ideal response to this? Being aware that we are all children of God, but at the same time there is strong sense of unacceptance to this, as how could I have tea in same cups as them?
Okay, so this stems from our own limitation. This stems from the fact that we do not understand that all are children of God. We do not understand that everybody is our, extended self. We can eat the food cooked by somebody else, but we cannot allow them to have food in our vessels. What thought process is this? You need to introspect really here. We all need to introspect, because this objection comes from the different status in society, and we get conditioned by it. But if you truly introspect, your cook is cooking for you and you are eating that meal, but you don't want your cook to eat in those vessels. Similarly, a person who is cleaning your vessels, your dishes are being cleaned by her, but you do not want her to eat in those dishes. It is a strange thought process that we have conditioned ourselves with. So, who is going to remove that difference? We have to slowly remove that difference. And to remove these differences, I'll just give an example from the life of Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Ramakrishna Paramahansa at one time had long hair. And at that time, you can see that the caste system in society was so much. He was a Brahmin. And what he did sometimes was he knew that everything is God, that everything is Brahman. Just to prove it to others, he would clean the toilet with the long strands of his own hair. Because he was a Brahmajnani, he could do that. But the truth remains. The truth is we are all one. The limitation is in our own mind and heart. We need to remove that limitation. Just if you can, just share sometimes your dishes with the people who work for you, you're going to feel happier. It's because we are going to remove that limitation. And I understand most people have it, but I have tried the other way as well. And I know it gives me a sense of satisfaction to be able to share whatever you're using. Because anyway, it is they who are cleaning those dishes, it is they who are cooking our food. And yet we are, so small and limited in our own thought process. And this is all one universal intelligence. We are made of the one God substance. Again, a story from Ramakrishna Paramahansa's life. It is said that a Brahmagyani came to the temple of Dakshineshwar. And that Brahmagyani was, nobody knew who he is. Everybody thought he was a mad person, because he would, make a dog sit next to him. And then the food that was given to him, one bite he would put in his own mouth, one bite he would put in the dog's mouth, and he allowed the dog to have food from the same plate. And when everybody called him a madman, Ramakrishna Paraman said, don't make fun of him. He's a Brahmagyani. He knows that everything is Brahman, everything is one, that there is no duality, there is no separateness. He knows the truth. The problem with us is we have not realized this truth as yet. And therefore, we differentiate, we discriminate, and we think that we are superior and the other is inferior, which is a fallacy. All are equally made of the one universal God substance, and that is the truth. The sooner we can bring ourselves to this truth, the lesser will be the repercussions in our life. We will not feel annoyed and irritated when a fellow person does something. And if a fellow person is doing something, think of him as a God-sent person teaching you a karmic lesson. Eventually, we all have to learn to love. That is the only lesson we are here for. And all the people around you have been planted by God and by your own karma to make you learn this lesson of unconditional love. Just slowly try to change your attitude. But the truth will not lower its standards because we don't understand it. So the truth is, this is one God, one world. All children are brothers and sisters. All children are that one self. And the more we can bask in this light of unity, rather than differentiation and diversity, the happier we will be, because our consciousness will expand, and that is self-realization. That is a social way of self-realization, where our consciousness expands to include everybody. Now, this does not mean I'm saying that you should not be hygienic. You can and you should take care of cleanliness and hygiene, but with that, you must share all that you think is yours. Try to share it with everybody as much as you can. You will definitely be happier for it. Thank you.
Last question for today. How can we channel anger as a resource instead of a low chakra energy?
Okay. So, important thing here is anger and self-control are kind of the two sides of the same coin, and mostly your lumbar chakras is the Manipur chakra is a lot involved here, because it's such a fiery chakra. So how do I manifest a change in this anger? The first thing is to be aware that you are losing it. Losing means you lose your temper. Are you aware? Do you acknowledge the fact that you are a person who gets angry often? And the problem with anger as a habit is that you have put so much of anger in your subconscious mind that in the next situation, even when there is no provocation really, but because of your past memory of similar situations where you have behaved in an angry way, the anger will just come out even without you wanting it. So the first and the foremost thing is to be aware that you are losing your temper. And how frequently are you losing it? And the only way to be even aware of your anger is, unless you start meditating, unless you raise your energy in the spine and start to focus at the spiritual eye, your level of awareness is not going to increase. So as you go on the meditative journey, as you go on the contemplative journey, as you introspect daily, find out, look back at your day each day. How many times did I lose my anger today? And sometimes we don't realize. It's a good thing to ask friends. Did I lose my anger today? Do you think I'm an angry person? Do you think my anger is getting better than before? So the world will know. The world sometimes does not tell you directly, because they're either afraid of you, or they want to just maintain the peace and harmony at home or at workplace. So nobody is pointing at you. But the truth is, if they are real friends, they will tell you. But you have to ask with humility. So one is to judge yourself, be aware if you're getting angry. The second is to approach friends and ask them, do you think I have this thing in me? And once you realize that, yes, it is there, then every time you see that the emotion of anger is arising within you, that moment you have to practice a pause. Before the anger, now there is always a pause between the anger rising as an emotion in your mind versus the anger projecting into the world, manifesting onto the other person. Now, if you practice the pause in between these two steps, then only can you consciously train the energy of anger to go into something else. So the simplest way, even Master has said, simplest way, if you think you're getting angry, just walk away. Take a walk. And once you take a walk, what will happen? Your breathing will settle down. The thoughts in your mind, maybe they will settle down. The emotions will settle down. And then only come and talk to the other person. Every time. And you have to be very alert. Don't think getting over bad habits is an easy job. No, it will take effort. Unceasing spiritual effort is required if we want to be free in this lifetime. And there are so many vices against which we have to fight. So we are gentle with ourselves, we are aware and awake what is happening, and we are putting a little effort every time. So there is not going to be any magic that today I'm not angry and tomorrow I'm aware of my anger and third day I'm free of my anger. No, it requires training, training, training. However much anger you have put in your subconscious mind, that much of calmness now you have to put in your subconscious mind. So you need to meditate regularly. You need to introspect daily. And you need to offer loving energy. So sometimes walking away from an angry situation will help. Other times, just taking a deep breath and asking yourself, why am I really angry? Is this situation really requiring my anger? Or am I just reacting? So it just means that the oil in your lamp is spilling out. So center yourself. Take a deep breath. Focus your energy at the point between the eyebrows. Offer that anger to God. Get angry with God. He won't mind. So there are various ways you can, manage this. But the first, as I said, is to be aware of what is happening. As soon as you are aware, another way you can do is become a witness of this. Stand back from your own anger and see that, oh, anger is arising in my mind. And I am separate from this. I am not this anger. And only then can you control this anger. So step back from this mind. Offer it to God if you cannot handle it on your own. Go for a walk or do some physical exercise. So by various things and using the agency of the breath, and just send out love to the other person. Slowly, it will take time, but you can conquer anger. Any vice can be conquered. That is the battle of Kurukshetra. In the end, there is the battle between virtues and vices. The vices or the Kauravas are hundreds, but the virtues are 5 plus Krishna. And you can still win this war because you can have invited Krishna to be on your side. And inviting Krishna would mean all of the acts, means God uniting actions, being devotion to God, meaning introspection, contemplation, meaning meditation, and lovingly inviting the Lord to take charge of your life. So I hope that helps.
That's all, Dr. Radhika ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being with me on this beautiful journey as we keep learning and as we, as lights shine in our brain and we say, oh, I haven't heard this before, and I didn't know I could behave like this or I could change my attitude so easily. As we hear the Gita and as we hear Master's explanation, it gives us a definite and clear outline, a map as to how we can gain victory over our lower nature and rise into our own Atmic nature and therefore always be unconditionally happy. So joy to everybody. Be blessed, be happy, and we shall meet next Thursday. Jai Guru.